Today we're going to cook some tomato sauce. My Italian friends may be a little dismayed at what I do, but I find this works really well for me, and I'll be adding no water to the sauce. I'll be adding no wine or any sugar. I'm going to use some Italian sausage. I'm going to not grind that up, but saute that to get the fat out of it. Put it aside, and then I'm going to saute some carrots, some onions, and some celery to add some sweetness to the sauce, and then I'll be adding up some chopped garlic. At that point, once that has been cooked down and sweetened up, I will add the pureed tomatoes and then let it simmer for a couple hours. So now I have my sausage that I am going to flatten so I can easily add it to the pan to render the fat out, which I am going to saute the vegetables in. So I'll put a few pieces in here, let that render down, and then remove that, and then do it in batches, render it down in batches. So I put a little bit of olive oil in there so it just wouldn't stick in the beginning. And then from here, we're just going to keep doing the batches until I get all that sausage cooked and the fat rendered. This smells amazing. Like I said, I'm rendering down the fat so I can saute my vegetables that I'm going to be putting in my sauce. Putting I don't know what the Italian term for it is, but a French term is a mirepoix. It adds some flavor. It also adds some sweetness to the sauce, so I don't have to add any sugar. So now I have my canned tomatoes. So these will be, the best tomatoes you can get for your sauce. As you can see, they're whole tomatoes. They've just been peeled. Kind of blend these down so it's a little smoother. I think that's it. Now I'm going to take care of my mirepoix. I have carrot, onion, and celery. I have them in a real coarse dice. I'm going to put them in a food process so we make it really smooth, and there'll be no chunks in a tomato sauce. You'll just get all the flavor. So let's get that going. We're going to do it in batches. Garlic to it. Now, I don't have any fresh garlic at the house, but I do have pre-chopped, so I'm going to throw that in there. Always like garlic in my tomato sauce. Okay, so now I'm going to put my mirepoix in here. I want to make sure the heat's on low. We don't want this to burn. So there's a lot of water in this. This is from me blending it, food processing with a little bit of moisture to make sure it would really do well. But also they're all wet vegetables, right? So there's a lot of water in the vegetables. So we'll let this cook for 10 minutes or so, and I'll just keep stirring it every minute. Okay, I'm back. Still cooking it down. I can see I still have quite a bit of water in there. It is reduced, but it's still got a ways to go. I'm also noticing that I got a couple pieces of celery and onion that didn't emulsify, but right, I'm not going to worry about it. I even got a carrot there that's not totally chopped. One or two pieces is not a big deal. So this technique of emulsifying that mirepoix I used with my children when I making meatloaf. I like to put a mirepoix in the meatloaf for flavor, but when they saw chunks of something, they didn't like it. Chunks of onion, chunks of carrot, or celery. They thought it was a foreign object and refused to eat. So what I developed was pureeing those vegetables so I get all the flavor and the sweetness, and then my children don't see them in there. So they eat it and they love it. So that's why I'm doing it with the sauce. Okay, we're back. It's been about 12 minutes, and as you can see, a lot of the liquid is gone. There's very little left there. Just a little bit. We'll let it cook for a few more minutes, or a minute or so, 30 seconds. Then we'll start adding stuff back in. For years, we were buying Prego and Ro or Rao, R-O-A, all great sauces. Bought a few other ones. But then I have a good Italian friend who gave me some homemade sauce from his own tomatoes. And the taste was unbelievably different. So that inspired me to try to make my own sauce. So I'm not growing my own tomatoes. I'm buying the canned or the peeled. I'm buying Italian tomatoes. And I've tried it a couple different ways, and I've been watching YouTube to try to get some ideas. And the idea of putting a carrot in the sauce is something I never thought of. But I saw a couple channels who did that. Majority of people put a whole carrot and then take it out. But then I saw one gentleman who made this mirepoix mixture. And he did exactly like I did for my meatloaf with the kids. And I think that's, I think it's going to work great. It smells unbelievably good right now. And I think I'm there. I think I've got this cooked down enough. So anyway, I've made sauce a few times. I've done it a few different ways, but every time I make it from with canned peeled tomatoes from Italy, the taste is unbelievably, and it is so easy. Definitely easy to just open a can and pour it in a pan and heat it up. But the benefits of doing this, if you're interested in taste, is tremendous. Now, I'm adding the sausage, which most of the YouTubes weren't doing that. They were just making straight tomato sauce, but my wife and I love sausage, especially Italian sausage. So we're going to incorporate that with this. So I'll give this a couple minutes here, just a minute or so to kind of balance out. Now I haven't salt and peppered anything yet. I'll wait till the very end. I know in most of my cooking recipes I salt as I go along to add salt and pepper to every layer, but in these recipes on the YouTube, they were just salting at the end and putting the either oregano or basil at the very end so it stays fresh. And I think that's a pretty good idea, because if you're salting as you go along and you happen to add too much salt, it's really hard to get that out of there. There's a few techniques to do that, but it's just difficult depending on what you're cooking. So I'll salt and pepper at the end, and stir it together. And then we're gonna put it on the lowest heat level as I can and let it go for at least an hour. And probably stir it every 10 minutes just to make sure nothing burns on the bottom and nothing gets stuck and it's cooked thoroughly through. But that's basically it. So this is my sauce, and cover this, because if you don't cover it, whatever moisture is in there is going to evaporate. You want that moisture to stay. You want it to condense on the bottom of the cover and just keep permeating in the sauce. At the very end, if you think it's too watery, then you take the cover off and you just cook it for another 5 minutes or so, and that will thicken it up. Okay, the sauce is simmering nicely. I can see the chunks of sausage in there. Not too big, it's nice and light. I think it's the right consistency. Just time for a little taste. Oh, that's good. Though I'm gonna add a little salt and some pepper. We'll give this another 10 minutes and then it's done. Then I'll add some basil and just let it sit in its residual heat. I've just taken the sauce off the cooktop. It looks like it's in really good shape. So I'm going to add my basil. And there is also something else that I typically add to my tomato sauce. I don't know if it's Italian, but it is something that Elaine and I both like in the sauce. And we're going to add some broccoli. So I have some broccoli florets. Going to add that to the sauce right now, the broccoli. Okay, not a whole lot, just a little bit. Again, it adds a little texture. Now I'm going to add my basil. Like I said earlier, I don't have any fresh basil, but I have some chopped up basil, dried basil, and we're just going to leave that sitting here like this. Work on the oils for the basil, and I finished making the pasta with the sauce. We're about ready to taste it. I just wanted to show you how delicious it looks without even tasting it yet. I want to reach out to my friend Dominic and thank him for inspiring me to make my own sauce. He told me it was easy and it would be so much more flavorful than buying something in a jar, and he is right.